Welcome back, everybody, to Simplexity Analytics Seasonal Report. This is for August of 2024. August is mostly a bearish month. As we see, there's a number of markets that are bearish, but we don't have any that are bullish. So the markets that are bearish for this month are wheat, the two meats in live cattle and lean hogs, unleaded gasoline, copper, and three currencies, the Australian dollar, British pound, and the Mexican peso. In this month, we're going to highlight live cattle, Australian dollar, and as always, we're going to touch on the S&P E-minis and how they fare for August. First up, we'll have a look at the live cattle market. August being the most bearish month of the year for live cattle. It has finished higher only 35% of the time in August. So that means 65% of the time it has finished the month of August lower than it has opened and has lost just over $12,000 in this backtest. If we look at the seasonal indicator at the bottom, we see this big steep decline that occurs during the year. Well, that starts off here around the end of July and into August is where this peaks at, and then heads south after that. But if we look at the prices in the last couple of years, it hasn't really correlated too well with the seasonality. Last year, last year we did finish lower. The year before that, it looks like we finished higher. And the year before that looks like we finished higher. So that the 2 out of the 3 years looks like it may have bucked the seasonal trend a little bit. So we'll have a look at the heat map for the live cattle market and see how we can pinpoint areas of weakness in there that we might want to take advantage of. Looking at the heat map for August for the live cattle market, we see that once we get past these first couple days of August in this week, we have all reds except for a couple significant greens here on this August 13th bar. We have a 100% day here, and we have an 89% day here for trading day of the year. So take some caution around this area here because you do have some pretty significant days there on the buy side. But other than that, everything is pointing to sell, especially on this week here, the August 5th to 8th. And then on the week of 26th to the 30th, we have a bunch of dark red, and we have some dark reds here for the holiday trade. So this would be days prior to Labor Day. So this would be 9 days before Labor Day, 6 days before Labor Day, etc. So we have good percentages down here. We have 92% on August 26th. That's the date of the year. So that is specific the date. That is August 26th. And then we have trading day left in the month. That would be 5 days left. We have at 89. And we also have a 94 here as well for trading day of the year. That's day number 164. And this is sandwiched right around these holiday trades as well. So that's a good area to look for some sell points in the live cattle market. Now switching over to the Australian dollar, we actually have back-to-back extreme months here in the Australian dollar. If you remember last video, July was the most bullish month of the year, and now we have August as the most bearish. So we have back-to-back months of extreme readings in the Australian dollar. So August has only finished 16% of the time higher. So 84% of August have finished lower than they have opened and has lost $23,000. So this would mean it makes $23,000 if you are a short seller. So if we look at the seasonal indicator, this blip right here to the downside each year is August. And if we go back on the price chart and look what has happened in the previous years, a few years ago we had sideways action for a couple of weeks and then we ended up finishing August lower. A couple years ago, after some initial rallying up here, we did end up finishing lower eventually. And then last year we saw a big decline lower. So has a pretty good track record, August, for the Australian dollar finishing lower. Let's see how it looks on the heat map. The heat map for the Australian dollar in August has a ton of red on it. We only have a couple of green days, one single day up here in the very first week, and then we got a few down here with holiday trades and a couple in the last week as well. But they're only light green. They're not big bullish days. So a good time to concentrate on the sell side for the Australian dollar is right here in this week and this week. Right in the middle of the month is where there's a lot of bright reds and good winning percentages as well. Well over 80% on these days. We have some 90% in here as well, which are great days. So good selling opportunities right in here in the middle of the month, Australian dollar. And now, and as always, we will take a look at the S&P E-minis for the month of August. August is the 9th most bullish, so that actually means that's a bearish month, as it's only finished higher 61% of the time and has only made $12,000 in this backtest. If we look at August on the seasonal indicator, it doesn't do much of anything. It doesn't go down much, it doesn't go up much. It has an initial decline and then a rally later. Same with this year. This year saw the indicator had more of a rally, and then this year we're showing a decline and a rally again. But again, this is mostly sideways action. If you look at the prices over the last couple of years, we saw August actually had a decent rise a few years ago. The year after, we had an initial rise, and then it fell pretty hard going into September. And last year, it fell pretty hard. So we've had pretty much a little bit of everything for these August for the S&Ps in the last couple of years. So let's see how it looks on the heat map and see if there's an area where we can pinpoint some action. So this heat map for the S&P minis for August is a good example of why these heat maps can show a bit of a different picture from what the seasonal indicator showed us. If you remember, the seasonal indicator kind of had an initial dip followed by a little bit of a rally, but for the most part, pretty flat for August. But if you look at the heat map here, we see how there's not much going on for the first few weeks of the month, other than we have some bright reds up here, which is bearish for the very beginning of the month with some good percentages at 90% plus. But that's just a couple days here. And then the following week, we have a mixture of reds and greens. Week after that, we have a bunch of light greens, which means they're okay trades, but not great. But then we get into the end of the month. And these last 2 weeks from the 19th and the 26th, these 2 months or 2 weeks of the month have some very good days, and they also have a couple 5-day holds. This one here on August the 26th is a 91% trade. It has finished at a profit 20 times out of the 22 years. 91%, and it's almost $30,000 in those 22 years. And the day after that is also a very good 5-day hold. It's the 5th best of the year. So this is a very strong area to be looking to buy right around here. And we also have a bunch of these bright greens as well, horizontally and vertically, which I always say we want horizontally and vertically, all the prices agreeing. And we have a bunch of trades 90% plus in this column. We have a bunch here, here, and here. And we have holiday trades. This one right here is the holiday trade. One of the best of the year. This is 9 days prior to Labor Day. It's 22-0. This is using a $2,000 stop. This has been a perfect trade over the last 22 years and has averaged just about $1,000 per year. And that's per contract. So this is an area starting right here on the Monday the 19th. Start looking long S&P E-minis, and there is staying power in this trade. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified on our next videos. Simplexity Analytics, making complex trading simple.